right, guys, welcome back. Survival Living here. So hopefully everything is going good with the live stream. I had some hiccups, and yeah, me and technology never works very well. Apparently, a hammer is not the correct answer. So hopefully everything is working good. If you guys can hear me, make sure you give us a thumbs up and let me know if everything's working on your end. So tonight I got a very good friend of mine, Skywalker Precious Metal, as many of you guys will know him as Airborne Prepper. He's going to be our guest speaker on this tonight because he's got a lot more experience, a lot more field, and he's got a lot more connections and looking at things much deeper than the typical YouTuber. That let's just say he knows what he's talking about. We've been going over this. Last night we were discussing this as well. What we're seeing, what we're expecting, what could happen, and why you guys need to be preparing as much as possible. So it looks like we are all up on my end. Hopefully everything's working. 5x5, awesome. As you guys know, Iran has done a retaliatory strike against Israel, and it was a big one. There's been all kind of news reports coming in as far as what munitions were being used. There's a lot of video footage online showing the showering down. Some of the missiles were being taken out by the Iron Dome. Video footage I've seen a lot of things slip in, and there's a lot of rumor and talk about hypersonic missiles being used and actually making strikes into Israel itself. So I asked everyone here to help speak on this as well, of what we're seeing, what we're not being told, or what we're being told and misdirected on. I'm seeing a lot of stuff in the news media, and you're going, that sounds like complete bull crap. And someone's texting me right now, of course. Let me turn off my notifications. Brother, if you want to give us a little bit of background there on who you are, in case, we do have some new members here that don't know who you are.
Hey, everybody. So I used to go by Airborne Prepper, go by Skywalker Precious Metals. Now I'm in the Precious Metals game a little bit. I spent 12 years with 82nd Airborne. I'm an Iraq veteran. I've spent some other time in the Middle East. And I'm part Lebanese, so I've got some insight on, half Lebanese. I've got some insight on Lebanon and Hezbollah. But yeah, we were talking, and I don't know, maybe a lot of guys know me from when we went down to Fort Myers, and we were feeding down there a couple years ago after the hurricane. And, we talked about doing that again. This year I've got rotator cuff surgery on Friday, so I'm gonna skip out on that this year. I've got a bit of a recovery ahead of me. So
yeah, guys, excuse me, Airborne here was one of the main guys that I went with down there to Fort Myers after the hurricane there. We teamed up with another group. A lot of you guys helped support us in that. We had a lot of other members also reach out and actually showed up. Our good friend Jeff, he showed up. Bug Up Bushido had opened up his doors for us to, get showered, get something to eat, get some sleep. So yeah, it was a wild time. Actually, it was unbelievable, the stuff that was going on down there. A lot of people needed a lot of help, and we did. We both looked at this after Helena was coming through. We're like, yeah, we'll make it happen. But like you said, he's got rotator cuff surgery. I know what that is. All right. Just between what we're seeing right now in the Gulf, guys, we're in Florida. We are trying to keep everything tight with our family and everything else because we want to make sure everything is safe for them. We can't just leave and major storms come in or anything like that, or go injured. We would become more of a hindrance to anybody than actually helping. So there are some groups right now that are in operation. Reach out to them if you want to be a willing body to help. There's also fundraisers and stuff like that if you guys want to help out these other groups that are in the areas. They're going all in North Carolina. I mean, they just massive amount of damage. So with Israel and Iran, like I said, guys, I'm watching the same footage you are. I'm watching the same videos on YouTube, watching the newscasts and everything else as well. I'll go ahead and say it. I wasn't expecting it from Iran. And I mean, what was it, about a month ago? They made threats and kind of like backed off, and they're like, okay, maybe nothing's going to happen. Israel rolled in. They were talking about moving special operations in and going into South Lebanon. And then, boom, no pun intended, here we are. So, Airborne, what are you thinking on this? I mean, are we going to see, do you believe we're going to see a major offensive from Israel with the backing of NATO and U.S., or we're still going to maybe see tit for tat again, like it's been going on? I mean, I know we discussed this a little bit last night, and it could go either way. I mean, just trying to read everything.
I don't, and it's hard because it's hard to read because, it seems like we only get part of the news,
Yep.
right? And it seems to be very skewed. And we're not going to get everything, obviously, from Israel. I don't think they're going to tell us like the amount of damage that they had. I know that the rumor of hypersonic missiles, but where's the proof of a hypersonic missile? I mean, generally those seem to be reserved for nuclear payloads and not just to haphazardly, throw into Israel or wherever they want to go. They're quite expensive. They're extremely fast, and they're quite large. So unless they intended on using, for some sort of major offensive, I don't think they were used, and we haven't seen any proof of that. I think that we talked about this last night. There's a lot of poke the bear stuff going on.
Yep.
With the recent moves they made in Yemen and against the Houthis, and then in Damascus, Syria, they did something last week, some bombing in there. It seems like they were targeting all the proxies. It's kind of like the biker club thing, right? You got a Dom club, and they have all their smaller club proxies. That's kind of how the whole Iran proxy thing is set up. They have the little guys go and start all the fights while the main Dom just kind of sits back and gives orders from afar. So I think they did enough poking to elicit a response from Iran. I thought it'd be bigger, honestly. I thought the response would be bigger from Iran. I do believe the response from Israel will be bigger. I think that was the intention all along, so that they to get us involved in that. Because, as we all know, the last few months we've watched them all. We've been moving ships and carriers and subs and everything in that direction. For what? If we weren't going to do something, why would we all? Hey, Tennessee, why would we move it all there? If we didn't plan on getting in the fight. But I think we needed a reason to get into the fight, right? So I think they did enough poking to get a response out of Iran, maybe enough to get us involved. I mean, I'm seeing things where we did shoot down some of those incoming ballistics. Our guys did from our aircraft. So I think we're going to get in it now. I don't know to what degree, though. Everybody's so tight mouth, right?
Yeah. And I try reaching out to some of my friends, their family, because they're actually on a couple of these ships. Of course, everything is just, you're not hearing anything from anybody. They're not being, we already know family's not going to know anything, especially with any type of operation, stuff like that. But I'm just trying to see what ships are they actually on. I'm looking at these things, and yeah, there's Mediterranean stuff. I mean, I love how they always say they're going to go in and show a presence to settle an area. You start bringing in war machines into the Middle East, you're not settling anything. All you're going to do is stir up a freaking pot. They're not going to go, oh, wait, there's big old battleships out there, we better behave. It's just going to infuriate and enrage people because, one, they're their own country. Chance, I saw your comment there. I do want to point something out. You had put 200 rockets is more than 100 rockets. I really wonder how many Iran can actually fire in one night, or is that all they got? From the research I've done with Iran's ballistic missile systems, they get a lot more, and a lot of it is underground. yeah, I don't think that's all they got at all. I mean, it's just, they got a lot more. And I've been really thinking they've been trying to poke and get in a major conflict as far as the U.S. with Iran. I've done many reports on this as well. Uh, it seems like every time you turn around, they're always talking about how they are so close to having nuclear enriched, uranium ready for, for weaponry. We got to do something. They've been doing this for 2-3 years that I was tracking of, and it's every time you turn around, they've got to get in there and shut this stuff down. They're just waiting for the right opportunity. I mean,
that very well could be it, and that could be the whole thing right there.
yeah.
I mean, is this the opportunity that the West needed to, go in there and inflict major damage on those types of facilities and weapons facilities? I mean, that could be it. Chance made a good point. 100 last time, 200 this time. Do they have 2,000, 20,000, 200,000 rockets? Who knows?
Yeah.
Do they have a nuke? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody does, but
Somebody might know it, but us here don't. I mean, we can look at things and we go, well, the possibility of. As preppers, we look at possibility of course. I couldn't tell you everything they got. I mean, I am a civilian. There's no way I would ever have that information. If I did have that type of information, even if I could let somebody know, my butt would be sitting in a stockade somewhere. They wouldn't be allowing me to run my mouth about it. So having the freedom
they
to
call
talk
that treason where I come from.
Yeah. So, we're just theoretically looking at this from what we're able to research on our own and say, hey, they got more. So, yeah, when you start seeing a lot of stuff, and I'm not trying to get on other people that do coverage on some of this stuff, there's some of it they really ramp up about, I've got the secret intel and they're telling me they got 18 nuclear weapons ready to launch right now. From who? Because that's some very top clearance stuff.
Well, there's a lot of talk about like oil refineries and stuff like that too. I was just looking at my phone to see where crude was at. It's at almost $71, but that's down. It's down from what it was earlier and down from what it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. So, there was the big scare initially, like, war in the Middle East, oil's going to go to $100. It seemed like it came down a little bit after that attack, but then what? What if you do attack the refineries? We talked a little bit about this last night. Who is on Iran's side? I mean, is the UAE, is Kuwait, is Saudi, are any of these guys going to back them up? Are they going to cut us off, from that oil? Is OPEC going to cut us off? Saudi doesn't have to take our dollars anymore to sell oil, so it really wouldn't be hard to shut it off to us if we don't want it, and thank this administration for giving what we have away. So, our stockpiles anyways.
Yeah. And we did discuss that last night. Because, I'm seeing a lot, what was it? Graham, he's out there beating the war drum as usual, talking about taking out facilities as far as oil and stuff there for Iran. And what's going to be the reaction from Iran? All right. Just start hitting all of our allies that supply oil for the rest of the world in the U.S. I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And if they go in, if they would have to do, in my opinion, it's going to have to be a major, just like the whole shock and awe thing back with the Bush administration. They're going to have to go in a massive air campaign. Now everything's going to be underground, of course, but they're going to have to take out any working facilities above ground, any form of communication, power grid, the whole 9 yards. Now, do they have facilities underground? Yeah, absolutely they do. All right. Do they have nuclear facilities? I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of things being directed that way. Do they have a way of running communication systems and powering up underground? Sure. I mean, bunker systems. That whole area is notorious for tunnels. And I'm not talking about just small, unsophisticated holes, like what was the Viet Cong had, their tunnel system. I mean, even those had big, massive rooms. And we're talking about massive complexes, not just dug with a pickaxe. I mean, these things are built like bunkers. So,
no, they're real bunkers.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, they're whole complexes. And I think when most people hear about Iran, they just think of some sandbox place that, mud hut houses, slapped together. There's actually a lot of sophistication in these countries. And
underground missile silos, and there's all kinds of things. I've been in some of the bunker systems in Iraq. We had to clear those. Very nice. I mean, you could drive a car through them. It was no problem.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that I don't think a lot of people are taking into consideration as far as you, me, everyone here watching. We're just saying, yeah, well, we just go to war. Iran is going to be a tough enemy for even the United States, in my opinion, to take on. And then you got who else is backing Iran. All right, there's plenty of reports out there that say that Russia are supplying ballistics, supposedly hypersonics. I don't know. But there's plenty of reports going around with the news media and stuff saying this stuff. Now, when it comes to news media, guys, especially mainstream, take that with a bucket of salt. You can find some information to start tracking down on your own. But I do like having independent news. Even on social media, you can actually find out other stuff that's been leaked a little bit. You can kind of follow along on some of it. Red Cross fact check, definitely not vampires. Okay.
Well, Chance was saying in the comments it took 2 destroyers and the dome, and they couldn't stop 200 ballistic missiles. Well, it's not meant to stop 200 ballistic missiles. The dome is meant to target very specific incoming ballistic missiles that'll cause the most damage at the target that they're hitting, and they'll let the other ones go. They're not going to shoot down the ones that aren't going to hit any major targets. They'll just let them come to the ground. So the system can pick and choose, which ones it wants to take out.
Yeah, it's not just seeing a blip on the screen. They don't know if that's a nuke or nothing. They know what these things are coming in, and they can look at the trajectory of those missiles coming in, of course, where they're going to hit. And they go, okay, we're going to take these out. And that's a fast system.
They're reporting 2 deaths.
Yeah.
Out of 200 missiles, you had 2 deaths. So where did they all go? And now you have to question the accuracy of the Iranian weapon systems. If they're just landing all over the place and they're not hitting any real targets, then how accurate can they be? We've seen the accuracy. Everybody's seen the accuracy in the videos of the 2,000-pound bunker busters that we sold Israel, and that penetrating straight down through buildings, bringing the building to the ground, and then they're dropping those things in through the rubble to get even deeper down into the bunkers. Highly accurate. Precision weapons. I just don't know if Iran has the same type of accuracy and precision with their systems. I mean, it just seems kind of crazy just to throw, you said 200 Hail Marys, and see what happens. That wouldn't make any sense to me. Or maybe they just don't have the type of targeting systems that Israel has.
And another one is what's really being reported out. I mean, are we getting all the intel of actually what targets were hit or were not hit? Media coverage is, just like with Ukraine and Russia, you always get one-sided about how the small little areas is beating the crap out of big Russia. And I've always said, Russia's not using their sophisticated weaponry in this stuff. They're just, they got another plan with that.
No.
It's something else that's going on with that. If they wanted it,
yeah,
take it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, if you take, one of the world's greatest superpowers of, Russia, and you put it up against, in many war games, and we talked about this too, in many war games, they have Russia beating us, and in a conflict like that, right? So you don't think for a minute that they couldn't crush tiny little Ukraine, with barely a military, barely an air force, in a matter of weeks, if they wanted to, if they really wanted to. But remember, most of those guys, most of their population are Russian speaking. They don't want to kill, everybody in Ukraine to make a point. They were just trying to save those people in those 2 regions from the, constant onslaught of the attacks that they were receiving from other Ukrainians within the country, from that Azov group or whatever they are. The Minsk agreement was supposed to stop that. and Ukraine backed out of it. So,
I did see here Sarah, a Canadian prepper, just posted he looks worried. I think he may have info, says to get cash, get preps, get ready. I actually like Canadian prepper a lot. I've been watching him a long time. What he's saying there, get cash, get preps, get ready. Yeah, you should be doing that anyway, especially what we're seeing. All right, this is, to me, we're right there on the verge. If not, we've already crossed that verge, and blah. Sorry, I worked all day, guys. I'm tired. We've already crossed that line that it should have already happened. And why it hasn't happened, I thank God it hasn't. Gives me more time to get my stuff ready. And yeah, you should be getting preps. You should have cash on hand.
yeah.
You should also invest some of that cash in precious metals, because if it goes to an oil war, I mean, there's a reason why BRICS have been building up, okay, to destroy the U.S. dollar. So cash won't be worth crap then. All right, it's going to be whatever currency is now dominating. All right, now you might be able to change some of that in for that, but the value is not going to be there. You have to have cash on hands during smaller SHTF moments. Yes, absolutely. You should always keep that on hand in case of emergency. But yeah, you should be ready. Now, I'm not saying run to the store and mortgage everything and sell your car and all that stuff to go buy a whole bunch of canned chicken. Don't do that. We don't know when things are happening, but make the effort to put money back as far as cutting costs. All right. If you have Netflix, you got Prime, you got all these different streaming services that you rarely actually watch, start cutting some of those out and take that money to go prep, go get some preps. All right. We discussed that many times. Work an extra job, pick up an extra shift. I know it's horrible. It wears you out. But yeah, you should be putting more and more stuff back. And we're seeing an escalation right here in America as far as natural disasters. And, just like the video I did the other night, the chemical plant there in Georgia. All right. When I researched that, that's got a track record of fires, explosions, for the last 20 years. And that's right there in the residential area. I mean, not residential area. It's in an area where it can affect residents, just from the fires from it, just from the chemicals from it. With this threat of war, we're seeing that the constant ramping up as if they do not care right now. They're going to get in there and start this. You need to be starting putting stuff back.
I totally agree, especially with cash on hand. Having some cash, isn't going to hurt. When you came over, when we did the storm thing down in Fort Myers, it's like, I've got preps, right? We just started loading up big 10-pound, number 10 cans of all the stuff I had too,
Yeah.
And that's, it was meant, of course, for my family, but, there were other families in need. And, since then I've replaced all those things. And I lost some when I had to go up north for a little bit, but I lost some cans due to the swelling, and the fruit especially seems to, doesn't stay as well as I had hoped it. Canned fruit doesn't like to last a long time. I don't know why, but the sugar or something maybe.
Could be sugar. It could be because I saw how you store everything. Everything's stored correctly. I mean, pop tops, like I said, I hate them. I've had them fail. I just don't stack. All right. So someone said something about nice backdrop. These are actual preps, guys. But a lot of these,
that's magic.
Yeah, actually have pop tops. Unfortunately, some of these products you just can't get away from. That's as far up as I stack them. I don't stack those. Well, no, I do double stack these, but I don't go any more than that. I check the weight of it because they pop. You just wasted all that food. I mean, it's not going to store.
Yeah. You can beat people senseless, telling them to take a few bucks back and pick up an extra can of this or extra can of that. They're either going to do it, Joe, or they're not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did see something that, I know we're talking about this stuff here, guys, but I do appreciate the comments. And again, in the video, comment after the live stream, you guys can leave comments too. I always read them all. Let me get back here. I just saw it. Okay. It says dumb question. Man, it's not a dumb question. It's a great question. But what would be the minimum amount to have in precious metals? Now, my opinion, which it changes by everybody that collects and puts things back as preppers and stuff, I say a minimum is what, once you've got your stuff set up, at least $1,000 in silver, at least, all right, $1,000 face value worth of silver. All right, you can move mountains with that if the dollar collapsed. Should you have more? Yeah, I'd say absolutely have more. But if you have a little prep stockpile, of some type of precious metal, that's a good start. Is it hard to get that? Yes, $1,000 worth of silver, of course it is. But it's going to hold value. And actually, in that type of scenario, it's going to go increase in value. But that's my opinion. Airborne, what do you think on that one?
God, everybody has an opinion on that one, right?
Yeah, right.
So people do it for different reasons, right? I do it for different reasons too. I guess if you're looking at it in a survival type scenario, I guess take your average daily expenses. If that, whether that's gas and food, let's say that's $15 a day. 2 ounces of silver or 1 ounce of silver would get you 2 days. So you need 15 days worth of, or 15 ounces worth of silver to get through a 30-day period just on basic daily expenses. So what's 30 ounces of silver is $900, so that's about $1,000 really right now.
That's so what, a month, 2 months?
15 ounces of silver. Yeah, 15 ounces of silver to get you 30 days. So
yeah,
30 ounces of silver get you 60 days. That's about $1,000 right now.
Yeah.
So you can look at it that way.
For a year, it's going to be a lot more.
Huh?
I said a year is going to be a lot more. That's for sure. Yeah. And it's really,
and that's what the gold's for.
Yeah. Gold holds higher value. Absolutely.
Gold pays my big bills. It pays my property taxes. It'll pay my utilities. It'll pay, other things like that. That's why I do it, because even if all the digits on my banking screen went to zero, I have enough in precious metals where I won't lose my home. I won't lose any vehicles. I'll be able to maintain those types of things, and my preps for food are already there. So, it's just about keeping a roof over my head.
So yeah, that comment right there, that is talking about the end time apocalypse of the coming of Christ and the Antichrist. That's not talking about SHTF moments, guys. All right. Worlds, countries, well, I shouldn't say worlds, the world, countries have came and fall all throughout civilization of man. Gold and silver has always had purchasing power as far as monies were ever a thing, all right, common, economics. So I see comments like that, and I'm not going to argue with that, but it's also taken out of context. So that's actually taken out of context. That is actually referring to the end times, biblical times of, Armageddon, okay? Not what we're discussing tonight. So I want to hit that because I see that a lot. Let's see here. Scrolling through here.
No, there's no doubt that your faith can help get you through some trying times.
Absolutely, it definitely can.
But it's not going to pay your property taxes.
No, it don't. Well, I've never had to pay my property tax. Let's see here. Have as much. All right, Minuteman. That's a good one there. Have as much precious metal as you can afford after you have at least 3 months to a year of prep foods. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I always say get your food first. You know, I say that because that's the route I went. Okay, I made sure my food, my alternative power, ways of actual survival. Now we're seeing more and more push with the bricks. We're seeing more and more devaluation of the dollar and the way it's being projected on this. Yeah, definitely precious metals. Because when the dollar drops, the dollar drop, and there's no troops on our soil, kicking everyone's butt and throwing them in, gulag, whatever, uh, the rents still do. All right, that does not change. Even if there is major conflict going on and the U.S. dollar drops, you're still going to have to pay rent. You're still going to have to buy gas. You're still going to do all these things. Well, the dollar drops, precious metal is where it's going to be at. And my financial
most people in the precious metals community use the metals as a savings vehicle, right? It's a lot. They can look at it and touch it and hold it and know it has intrinsic value, and they tend to hang on to it easier than the money they would hang on to like in their bank account, right? If you see money, a lot of people have spending problems, so they save a little something, then they end up spending that. But a lot of people, if they put it in metals and they see that start building up, it turns into a way to save money. And of course, they're also doing it because the value of the dollar just keeps decreasing, right? The value of fiat just keeps decreasing, where the value in metals keeps increasing. So they're using their decreasing fiat to purchase an increasing asset. And gold is a tier 1 asset. So they're using something that's losing value to buy something that's gaining value. I don't see any issues with that.
Yeah. Water is the number one prep, definitely. All right. And yes, you're right. It's difficult to get an emergency. It's bulky, difficult to move around if you need a lot of it. Absolutely. We just had the hurricane come up our backside here in Panama City. I just showed what we had right there in the living room kitchen setup. I've shown videos where we have our inflatable pool, catches rainwater, and you're talking 280 gallons right there, because we're not living off grid anymore. We're in town now. We have toads. We have all kinds of things, a collection of water. We have, I've done videos on using Google Maps to find retention ponds, streams, all these things in your local area. You need to actually get out there and look at it. But you also need a good water filtration system to purify the water. After Hurricane Michael, and I've done many videos on this, we had people that had strokes and heart attacks here in Panama City, Southport area, stuff like that, because they were not physically in shape. And when the water was off and there was no power because the water was off, they would go to retention ponds and runoff ditches, toting buckets, and having strokes carrying it back because they were not prepared for that. There was no way to go to the store. Even if they could get to the store, there's nothing there. All right. So, yeah, water is very important. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a 16,000 gallon pool. It's a regular chlorinated pool. And I have bucket filtration systems where I can just it takes the chlorine right out of it, no problem. I know that you are sponsored by one, but if you don't mind, I'll say the one that I like to use.
No, you're absolutely fine.
Okay, so I use the Outback Plus system. It's by ESP Water Products. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I like that system. It's a little bit less money than the one that sponsors you, and money's hard to come by sometimes. So I ended up testing it out on my own pool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pool. I'm in Florida too, so there's a lot of pools around me.
Yeah.
So up north at the cabin is a different story. I've got a 190-foot deep well that's in an ancient glacial aquifer. The water's crazy good and crazy cold. With a backup hand pump, and I can put solar on the electric pump if I had to. I had them wire in a plug for my panels, so I have 2 backup ways to get water out of that, and that's an endless pretty much I'll die before I ever get the water out of that well. So
I was just scrolling through here. Michelle, Mitten Prepper veteran, good to see you, my friend. I did see Miss Ghetto and Ghetto, and I saw Snoopy here tonight. Good to see you, my friend. Got a lot of great people here, guys. Like I said, leave things in the comment for me to take a look at. I've been doing a lot more. They're titled playlists, emergency alerts. That's actually to get your attention on what's going on in our country and stuff. And sometimes I have to cover some of the things out of the country because I'm seeing it affect this way. We've got a good response from people on that. So I'm looking at the news and information, and I'm bringing it to you, but I'm also giving you ideas on preparing for these things without beating down the dead horse. We're all going to die or anything like that. Are we all going to die? Yeah, eventually one day. As a prepper, I'm trying to extend my life here on Earth as much as possible for as long as I can. So preppers aren't fearful of life, but just really enjoy life. Okay. Let's see here.
I'm looking at a comment from Minuteman 69. He's got a pull pump and a solar pump or a dip. I mean, backups to backups to backups. I mean, how can you go wrong with something like that, right?
Oh yeah,
that's how it's got to be. That's what we do in this prepper community. Backups to backups to backups to backups. Because something always goes wrong, right? A piece of our equipment is going to fail us. It always, right? And something always fails us. A camera, or a tree falling on your tent when you're out there trying to shoot a video.
I would freaking run that night.
You're making me use that cheap Walmart scraper.
Magnesium fire starter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God, that piece of crap that you gave me to try to use. Here, try this one. I was like struggling my ass off with it, bro. It was rough.
But once you get used to it, there's nothing to it.
And then you give me the Bigfoot one, and it's like,
oh yeah,
this is so nice.
Right? I'll tell you what, the Bigfoot's got some good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Talking about sponsors and stuff like that, guys. Yeah, we got a bunch of them here on the channel. When I have to do a video, their stuff is stuff I've tested out.
Listen, I threw out every other fire starter I had, and only have Bigfoots or my homemade ones. But the Bigfoots are amazing.
Yeah,
they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap as far as cost effective and stuff. They last a very long time, and you're not wearing the sucker out. But yeah, anything we show, guys, you don't have to go buy anything. If you trust me, I know equipment is expensive. Right? It is. Solar generators. There's so many different types of solar. As a matter of fact, I got a new one coming in here in the next couple of days. I got to do some serious testing on it because the price of it is fairly good. I mean, we're talking a 2,400 watt for like $900. That's less than 50 cents. Serious, 50 cents a watt. I haven't come across many like that. So, of course, I got to test that stuff out, and you guys make your own decision on if y'all want to buy that. You don't have to buy anything we show. I just show you the product, do the testing, let you see for yourself. And I try to answer any question when people have them about them, and I'll let you know, hey, well, no, I won't do that, or yeah, it will. Back to
every fire I started last summer was with a Bigfoot. Fire starter. Every one. Yeah, they're awesome. Even in the rain. It was raining and it was starting fires. So I was like, these are good. These are good. I see Michelle Mitten Prepper, right? Yeah. She had said something a minute ago about the stores being cleaned out in Michigan. Michelle, my cabin's up there in the Mitt. What is it with the cleaning out the stores? Is it this people worried about this dock? This port
the longshoreman strike. Yeah. So
I don't know about that. I think that maybe people are just panicking a little bit about that. I mean, during this election cycle, I don't see that lasting more than a couple of weeks. And most stores are going to have what you need. I mean, if you think about the things that are imported, yeah, if you can't live without bananas and avocados and stuff, you might be in trouble. But I think that I think we'll be okay with that. I don't think that's gonna. I think that's gonna turn out to be a big nothing burger.
Oh, I hope so. As a prepper, I don't take chances. I looked at it, and from what I saw, my biggest thing is when you're trying to look at the shipping information, what's actually coming in. It says it provide anywhere from 46 to 62% of the imports into America. I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, that's pretty big, but won't tell me what those imports are. All right, is it IKEA furniture or is it bags of rice? I don't know. So I don't have the information as far as bill of ladings of what the actual coming in shipping is, and I haven't been able to find anybody that actually has that yet. So
well, I can't go to the store here and make any determination if the buying is from that or from the storms that we just, from the hurricane that we just had.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because the stores are pretty screwed right now, anyways. I'm only 6 miles from the coast, and it went all the way up the coast. There's devastation all the way up the coast, just north of me in Cedar Keys, completely leveled. One of our kids, one of our sons is a firefighter down in the Clearwater Beach area. It's completely destroyed down there. I mean, they were pulling bodies out of there. He worked 72 hours straight, and it's a mess down there too. So, and we were just talking before we came on, what's going on in North Carolina. I know you got some North Carolina listeners here.
Yeah.
I just seen that looks like a brigade with the 82nd Airborne just deployed to North Carolina. They didn't give the specifics of where. That's something that brigades that are not on a readiness type of scenario will do. We did that during Katrina, so it's not unheard of to deploy the 82nd to this kind of stuff. They do it all. They go where they're needed.
Let's see here. Michelle, we have 20 stores within 5 mile. All are packed with people. I know when people are flipping their lids here in Oakland County.
Yeah, so she's downstate. It's a lot more populated down there, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and like you're just saying, I mean, here if we go to the store here, it's still disaster written just from everybody running into it, and they got to go grab every loaf of bread, every box of cereal, and every gallon of milk. I don't know why that's not preps, and they don't have any fuel for a generator, but they can make sure they got gallons of milk. I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
if you get the milk, get the shelf
maybe babies or something, kids. I don't drink milk. I can't stand the taste of milk.
Oh, I love milk, but we get the shelf stable stuff you can get from the dollar store.
I've got powdered milk in case I need it.
Yeah, and I always keep the powdered milk. This stuff lasts a very long time.
Oh yeah.
And the ones that's already pre-made up, you don't need water. And the little shelf stable little cartons you get from dollar. Well, you used to be able to get them from the dollar store. They're supposed to only last a year, and they taste all right. So I always just keep stuff on hand. I mean, I will go. When the hurricane was coming this way, or at least we thought it was. I'd go in. I had 2 gas jugs I needed to fill up. It was days before this thing was even coming this way. I went ahead and stopped one morning, filled up 1 5-gallon. I was sitting in the thing. So I'm going to get the other one just in case. Just so I knew we had so many days of fuel just for the gasoline generator, solar generators. We got solar power, so redundancy. I mean, it's not just all in one basket. Now, all you can afford is a gasoline generator. It's cheap, effective. You're going to run out of fuel eventually, and you really need to have some know-how on keeping it running. Have some spare parts of that thing. If you got a pull cord on it, get you another one and know how to install it, okay? Because and once you've done it, you know how. But I know people that's broke the pull cord on that, and they have no idea how it even works. You know, I've done videos where I had to service mine. You know, the electrical outlets on it. You know, they went out. You know, just if I needed that thing right then and it went out, you know, pretty much screwed. It's just running and no power coming out of it. So yeah, you definitely need to know how to work on your preps. You know, your equipment. But you can't have every part needed for everything. I did see comments like that before. Well, a real prepper would have every part they need for their car stocked up and every part for this. I'm like, so I'd have 3 actual Tahoes in a garage somewhere. I'd have 9 alternators, 12 extra batteries. I mean, come on now. Yeah, I don't have it like that.
It's some pistons, some rings, some camshafts, and lifters, and you know.
I mean, I might have some of those. I mean, but they're not for my Tahoe. They're for something else I worked on.
It seems like almost every automobile failure I have is electrical of some sort. Mm-hmm. It's a computer related something.
Yeah,
you know.
That's pretty much what I run into nowadays. Back in the day,
get a scan tool. You can buy the scan tools for like $60 now or something, and you know, print out the code book or something and keep it in your garage.
Yeah, my wife and I were just talking about that. So if the power goes out as far as internet, I don't know what a mechanic's going to do anymore, because this is what I do on my job now. All right, it's not just listening to an engine to be able to tell what's wrong with it, because everything's electronic on it and everything operates something on the system. You run the code on your scanner. You know, you don't have to have internet or power for that, as long as, you know, it's run off the OBD2 reader on the car, 12 volts. And then it gives you a code. Now, where are you going to go find out where that code is? There's hundreds of codes. I don't have a good memory. Now, some of them that I see over and over and over again, I can tell you that's a catalytic converter,
O2 sensor, yeah.
But most of them, you have to go online. You have to go to all data.
Gas cap.
Small evap leak. So we're talking about it. You'd have to print them off. But I also noticed that some of the manufacturers, their code don't match. You know, Ford doesn't match Toyota. So on a lot of the stuff. So, I mean, each code's not identical. So you'd have to print off so much. It might be worth doing. I mean, really, but then again, can you get the electronic parts? You know, if it's something.
Well, I just did an evap purge valve on my kid's Pathfinder. You know, never heard of it. It wasn't even under the hood. It was behind the driver's side rear wheel well, up on top of the carbon canister. You couldn't even see it with the wheel off. I mean, you know, I'm trying to chase vacuum lines all over this place. I'm going, where the hell is this thing? It was way up in the frame on a little tiny bracket, and then, you know, it just, what a pain in the ass that thing was.
Yeah. So
and it didn't clear the code automatically. I had to have the code cleared, but
yeah,
you know, I tried resetting it and everything. Just, you know, but it went out and stayed out after that. It's always something little like that. It didn't affect drivability, but you know, he did notice gas mileage was going down, so maybe it's stuck open, or you know.
All right. So anyway, guys, I definitely appreciate you all hanging out with us. You know, we do have a lot more of the emergency alerts coming in. You know, I go over the reports you guys are sending me. I go look at it myself and do my own research on that, and I come back and tell you guys what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking on this. So definitely, you know, hit me up. Just put in the comment section on those videos, because I read every comment. Then I can actually take the time, and either I break at work, or when I come home, I sit down for a minute, kind of go over it really good, and then I'll start digging into it, where I can actually start producing a video with my response on that. Seems to be, you know, a pretty good thing here on the channel. Seems like you guys are really enjoying that. I would like to continue that. So, Airborne, I appreciate you coming on tonight and, you know, speaking with everybody. Guys, Airborne's a good friend of mine. I really want to have him back here more often. Sarah, how is your brother doing? He is doing much better. His heart surgery went well. As a matter of fact, I went fishing with him a couple of weeks ago, him and my dad. I went out there when the hurricane was coming up here to make sure the generator was operational and stuff. There's some issues going on there, but we got all that stuff situated before the storm got closer. So yeah, everything's good on that front. So anyway, guys, again, I appreciate
Can I
you.
say one more thing?
No, no. Yes.
Come on, don't kick me out yet. I wanted to say something
Go for it.
about the gas generator. I have gas generators. Like down in Clearwater, the water and sand infiltrated the in-ground gas tanks at all the gas stations up and down the beach. So like those of us that have, would have been on gas generators thinking like, hey, when the power comes on, I'll be able to get more gas. Nope. Not there. You're not. You're going to have to drive inland a ways to get gas. So hopefully you didn't take the gas out of your car to keep your generator running.
Yeah, and I have seen
that was something I didn't think about, because the fire department, they need to refuel constantly. We've seen that at Fort Myers. Remember when we were outside of town, we kept seeing everybody hanging out at the gas stations and fueling up? That's because all the gas was ruined.
Yep. All the water
in that entire area.
Into the mix. Yep. Yeah, I do remember that. I wasn't even thinking about that either coming up this way. I was just telling people if it comes up and hits Panama City, y'all going to have to go west to go get fuel, because you're not getting it from Dothan, because I saw the track. I thought it was coming all the way up that way. I'm like, if it hits dead on here, you got to go west. You can't go east. All that stuff, the major part of the storms over there. So, yeah, when you see things like that coming your way, guys, take a look at it. If you have the opportunity to evacuate out, I will tell you to. Me, I'm not evacuating out. I'm too freaking stubborn. But I take so many different levels of preparedness on it. It would take something major to knock down where I live. Not saying it can't. I've seen tornadoes destroy everything. I was watching videos of down south, houses were floating away. Actual houses. So Mother Nature can do a lot of things. Just listen. If it's time to go, most of the time, big man upstairs is going to say, hey, you need to get out of here. And you just got to listen.
Up here in Cedar Key, a lot of those houses are on stilts, concrete stilts.
Yeah.
The stilts are still there and the houses are gone.
Houses are gone.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's completely wiped out up there. Yeah.
I think that was some of the ones I saw that were floating. I was thinking maybe they were on stilts and they got lifted off and kept on going.
Well, they think the code is that those are 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
So think of how high the water was. If it's going to take the house off of those, they must have had 12, 15, 16 feet of water. It's crazy.
Right fast. Deb Smith, definitely appreciate you being here, my friend. You've been with us for a very long time. And yeah, take care and prepare. No one's coming to save you. You know what? Yeah, I mean, I would not put my survival plans on somebody coming to rescue me. Now, do I have plans? Yeah, I got groups and stuff I work with. I talk to this guy all the time. Hey, things get bad, you come my way. Things get bad, I'm coming your way.
Except when you moved, did you move your chili stash? Because I know where that is.
Yeah,
I know where you got that hidden.
Yeah, actually you do. So when Airborne was,
I know where some of your shit is, bro.
Yeah, he went out there out in the field with me for my course, and I eased off the woods, and I come back with Angus beef chili and yeah, rice and stuff, and he looked at me and said, "I know where you got your stuff stashed now. I got stuff buried everywhere." We're in the middle of nowhere, and I got this stuff hidden out there too.
Hey, listen, before I bought this house here, when I was up, before I built my new cabin, I had another house. I sold that. I moved back, bought this house, and then I started building another cabin. I put shit out in the national forest. I never found it. I never found it.
Wow.
And I'm pretty good at land nav. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to it, bro.
I
think crazy. Somebody else found it.
Well, ever since I started doing those not geo mining, geo something, I was out middle of nowhere.
Geocaching, yeah.
Middle of nowhere. There's no trails. And I'm sitting down by a campfire, and I'm looking up at this tree, and I'm seeing something wedged in the fork of the tree. I'm like, that don't look right. I go over there and there's a roll of paper, write your name, leave something, take something, put your coordinates. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's nothing around here. So how in the world do you even find this spot? And that's where they have one of the little caches. I'm like, I left a magnesium fire starter. You know, your favorites.
Well, listen, yeah, but there's other people stashing stuff out there too, and I'm wondering, like, oh, they're trying to stash theirs and they find mine somehow, which they take mine and put theirs somewhere else. I mean, it's dog eat dog out there. I see Michelle saying, "You going north in 5 years, 100 acres. Congratulations! Are you going
Very nice.
across the bridge? Are you going across the bridge?"
Yeah, this is one of the things where I've had people ask me about storing the freedom seeds and the freedom tools in the ground and stuff. I cannot tell you to do that, guys, for many different reasons. One, safety and legality concerns, because someone find it, hurt themselves, or I'm pretty sure it's illegal to do that also. Now, during SHTF, hey, no rules. But right now we're still running in an operating society. Number two is you have to make sure you seal that stuff up correctly, or when you go get it, it's going to be a giant rust ball. So
yeah, it won't be any good.
Yeah, you have some really bad freedom seeds that don't go pow because moisture got in there, and that's it. So
I like some of the commercials that some of the food guys do, where they like show a blue tote that's kind of half buried in the ground and it's filled with freeze dried food. I don't want to say it because I don't know if that's one of your guys, right?
Oh yeah,
I got food.
They had a former Navy SEAL commander, and talking about the freeze dried food supply, and I'm looking at it, and you can see it's like half of it's still out of the ground. You look over here, you can see this. I'm like, that's not hidden. And I wouldn't put that in the ground anyway because it's not sealed. It's just a tote to organize your stuff. You don't want to put that in the ground. Now, I've had long conversation with a lot of the affiliates I've got. Marketing is one thing. It's another thing to actually have to look at as a prepper. So, like some of the big totes I get with long-term food stores, yeah, well, it looks great on a shelf. And that's about as far as it goes. Now, the food itself, sealed for a long time, but you've got to put it in things. I mean, just like the Wallaby buckets, all right? They got those Gamma style lids, all right? You screw those things on. That right there is going to last a very long time. You can put that in the ground. But some of the other totes and stuff I've been given, I'm looking at, like, it's great for organizational skill, absolutely, but you will not see me bury that, and I won't. I won't put that.
Yeah, but you got to put that in, you got to put what's in that bucket in Mylar.
Yeah.
Because that rubber seal will degrade both on the Gamma lid and on the regular lid. I've tested lots of different things in the ground, like the sealed ends of PVC and all kinds of things. PVC seems to work.
PVC lasts a very long time.
But yeah, I haven't had much luck with buckets, but what do you do?
Well, apparently you're not doing it right. No.
Yeah. What did work though is I got at an Army Navy surplus store. They had 40 millimeter mortar tubes, big green ones, about the size of a dinner plate around, and they got a screw-on metal lid with a huge gasket.
Yeah.
I put a bunch of crap in one of those and buried them in the ground for over a year, dug it up, dry as a bone. As a bone.
Yeah, those silicate moisture packets, not the cheap one. You can buy these. They're designed for like packing firearms and stuff. Those things work really well. You can load those things out, your PVC pipe and stuff like that, and it'll keep moisture out. Let's see here, pipe dope. All right, it's a paste. You can put it on the thread, screw it down. Now it's going to be a pain in the butt getting it off. You're going to be using monkey wrenches and stuff to break everything up, regular pipe wrenches to break it apart. But ain't nothing leaking in those things. I mean, I just use PVC glue when I do PVC piping with caps. Glue the ends, glue the end caps, put them on. Nothing's coming in.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything come in. I wanted to say something about what Esther just said. I'm working on preps and paying off debt. Listen, man, paying off your debt is the way to be.
Yeah,
Esther. I mean, I commend you for that. There's a saying: a debt-free man is a rich man. You know, um, don't go into debt for your preps.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, I see the comment right there. Yeah, absolutely. I'm working on preps and paying off debts. Yeah, you don't go into debt to get preps. Don't, squirrel money away, do what you have to make cuts, and then buy them right out. There are some companies, and we're affiliated with a couple of them that do financial and stuff like that, break up payments and stuff. It's nice, but I don't like being in debt. All right. Now, I'm a renter now. That sucks, but that's part of my preps too. I got to make sure we got rent put up. We have to make sure we have silver in case the dollar drops, and they still want rent. So it's another reason I'm working so many hours. Just make sure you can take care of it, because if you get evicted, and I spoke to many people here on my channel that have contacted me, I'm being evicted. I have no place to put my preps. SHTF is many different forms, and one of them is preparedness, paying the bills, because anything can happen. If you get kicked out and you lose everything, now what?
yeah,
So,
you say it all the time. You don't keep all your eggs in one basket.
yeah,
If you can, put some of your preps over to family members' house, or, even if you can find just a cheap quarter-acre lot somewhere and put a shed on it and keep some
yeah,
of your preps there or something.
absolutely. Minuteman, I'm debt free, even paid off the Snap-on guy. So I paid off my Mac. I paid off my Mac Co. I couldn't afford the admission fee on Snap-on trucks, so I never got on that one. Uh, but
Listen, the Snap-on guy's good at debt. He's
yeah,
real.
yeah. No, are the tools awesome? Absolutely. But I do buy a
Yeah.
lot of stuff from Harbor Freight, as far as Icon and Maddox, and I use them every day. And
Icon's pretty good. Icon Professional Series is pretty good.
yep,
Yeah.
it's really good. I haven't broke anything yet, and I use them for everything. I pull engines all the
You know
time.
who I've been buying a lot of lately is Tekton.
I don't have any. I have to look in them.
Tekton. Yeah, man,
Yep,
good stuff.
I have to
I
take a
just
look.
bought 2 new torque wrenches from them. Fantastic. Never
Freeze
had
dryer.
any issues with.
Absolutely, that is it's a very expensive prep, but it is going to pay for itself many times over. You start freeze drying your own food and seal it up correctly. Yeah, yeah, you're definitely one step up. Um, yeah, I'm a ways from
I
doing that.
told you I just bought one of them vacuum sealers.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Did I tell you that?
yep.
Thing's amazing, bro. I
Yeah.
love that thing. I'm like, why didn't I get one of these earlier? I'm vacuum sealing the crap out of everything, man.
That's what we do with all the fish I catch. We get them all cleaned up, we vacuum seal them, put them in the deep freeze, extend them a lot longer. But yeah, I mean, dude, everything from gas mask filters, even though they're sealed, I vacuum seal it just to make sure I get that extra seal on them. But the expiration date's supposed to be like 5 years. So I'm hoping that vacuum sealing adds more protection on it. But I don't know if it's just a breakdown on the inside. As long as it's sealed, it shouldn't get anything in the activated carbon. At least I think. I don't know, but we'll see. I don't really have a way of testing them against nuclear, biological, or they say you can take was it banana oil or something like that. You can put a mask on, breathe, and if you can smell it, taste it, your filter's bad. I gotta research on what exactly it is, but it's supposed to be able to, if you can sense it, your filter's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, that's an expensive prep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Filters.
The filters alone
That's
is $86. Yeah.
You're a military guy too, and I've been in some situations where I've had to be in different MOP levels before, and those filters don't last as long as you think they will.
No, they don't. Yep.
You know, I've never had a filter last more than 4 hours.
Mhm.
You know, and I've had to stay in mop for days. So, you know, it's
Yeah, I
just
don't know
filter
where they
after
get their
filter after
numbers
filter
from.
after filter after filter.
Yeah, and that's just from when we're breathing even without no major contaminants in the air. It's you're gonna burn it through. So yeah, they are a very, very expensive prep for sure.
You're talking like 50, $80 a filter now for NBC filters.
Yeah, so the NBCs I've got, MIRA, they're 86 for the MIRA brand. Now there are other brands out there you can get a little bit cheaper. They're one of our affiliates, so you know, of course, I purchase those. They are not, they're not cheap. I mean, even if you do find a cheaper one, you got to look at it and actually, all right, is it worth taking a $30 discount on it and it not work? I mean, I don't know. I'll leave that up to other people to decide on that one. I have seen.
The way I treat the filters in my preps, it's enough to get me out of my area.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It did get me across the state line. That's how, you know, that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's not one you're
I
going to be.
I can't stay bugged in with in that type of environment. I'm gonna have to leave. You know.
Well, yeah, it just depends on what the situation is. And if it's fallout landing everywhere, kind of stuck where you are.
Well, you're kind of stuck, yeah. But I mean, if it's a like chemical plant
Yeah,
or
like
something like that,
that.
I'm gone, man. I can't burn through, you know, $1,000 worth of filters a day. I don't have it like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of filters. Well, I actually probably should do a video on just how many filters you're going to go through. I just don't want to use up all my filters. Maybe just run the numbers because that is very expensive. I mean, no kidding. The CBRNs are $86. You know, I mean, that's
Well, if
not
you got you and the wife and the boys, you got 4.
four.
If you're
Each
changing
time.
those filters every 4 hours,
Yep.
4 to 6, depending on the chemical. Some
Yep.
might go 8, but it really depends. They all only last for so long.
Yeah, I'm not going to plan on hoping that they'll last for 8. I'm going to go the minimum as possible because when you run out, you're screwed. So
That's
yeah.
24 filters, you know, a day for 4 people. That's a lot of money, bro.
Yeah, I'm fixing to run up what we had actually invested on that. Like like you even said, it's just to get out of an area. It's I gotta get my calculator, guys, because my brain does not work very well.
The Apollo 13 make a square filter fit a round hole with JW, and that was a good movie. I love that movie. Every time that movie's on, I watch it.
Oh yeah. I can't find my. There it is. Okay, calculator. What we say? 24 in a day. In a day. That is 1 day. 24 filters. That's 4 people. Is $2,064. That's if you're changing them out every few hours because of whatever chemical for 4 people.
That's why I'm leaving.
That is a lot. So if you start running numbers, guys, you got to look at it and then you have to start making new plans. I mean, yeah, we have stuff to set up our house as much as possible, but it's why I like having stuff in a kit in the car. You know, you can put it on and keep on driving and get out of the area as much as possible.
Yeah, and I know you do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I firmly believe in that. Now, if you got a kit in your car, guys, make it look inconspicuous. Because the last thing you want is someone breaking in your car and grabbing that kit. You talking several grand in that sucker. So yeah, and make sure it lays, you know, incognito in your vehicle, you know, something like that, because you don't want to be a target on your vehicle either. All right, well, get this wrapped up, guys. I do need to take a shower and get ready for work in the morning. Airborne, I appreciate you coming over here and talking with everybody tonight. Guys,
glad to be here.
Prepping, just be safe. You know, you don't have to go crazy, and don't let me scare you from ever buying a gas mask or filter. All right, just really look at that prep, really look at those plans, because there's numbers over $2 grand for 4 people for a day running filters. So even though the company says it's going to last you 6 to 8 hours, Does not mean it's going to. Just depends on what the chemical is. And if you actually look at the listing on these things, they'll even say it depends on how heavy saturation it is as far as what you're breathing in. You know, so yeah.
And unless you're schooled in chemicals, unless you've been to an NBC course or you've taken the FEMA courses online, a lot of people can sign up and take them for free. And like as a student, you don't know what the chemical is. You know what I mean? You're going to be in a full mask. You're going to be wearing your mask. You're not going to know what the chemical is.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. It's being filtered.
Yeah. And if you can taste it, you're pretty much done. All right. Time we get wrapped up here, guys. Again, I appreciate you hanging out with us, and I'll catch you guys later.
Take care, everybody. I'll see you, brother.